Hey everyone, welcome back for the second round on the OpenRC. Today we're starting up with some of the build and we're messing around with electronics, trying to get that situated. So with that, I'm going to hit the intro and we're going to get right into this because it's going to be a little bit of a long one. Alright, cue the intro. Fuck. Okay, hold on, everyone. Now that I've thrown all my bits and pieces all over the floor and tried to break my car before I got it running. Yeah, that's brilliant. Luckily, not a big deal, nothing lost, nothing broken, everything looks good. Alright, so here's where we left off. Here's where we're at this point. You saw me build up to this point with everything. So, what we got here, what can we see? Oh crap, I'm going to have to reprint that. Well, that's unfortunate. Luckily, I can fix that. That'll break there. I might replace that with a newer version that they have out anyways. Let me zoom in here so we can take a look over, see here. So we have the engine in. We have our gears in. I am waiting on, as we know, on screws so I can put the rest of it together. So meanwhile, I've been sourcing other stuff. Excuse my hand if I had that going. I've picked up the servos that I need. We need to connect the proper piece to that on there. I picked up the battery. So, okay. Just trying to see what's in can't focus here. So, got all that. I've got a charger, as you know, seen already, and I've even picked up the remote. I've yet to open this guy. Get to that in a minute. Make sure I don't step on the body parts. I don't want to have to print out more than I have to. Alright, so as you can see, this is not screwed onto that part yet. Simple little server. So from China, I'm thinking, I think I'm going to put it in this direction. Well, no, I could put it in this direction, I guess. Yeah, that's long enough. So we'll put it in that direction. This way we have a shorter run. What we want to do is pick one of the proper guy here for this. And this should set up our steering. If I can open the bag. So, yeah. And we got a couple of little bits here. We have 3 screws. We'll need one of those guys. We need the one that's like that. And the rest of it can go in the bag just in case we need it for another project or just to have. So, that's one. Item in. Yeah, I am. Wow. I cannot get these things into the bag. Last thing. And those can get tossed aside. They're not needed. Alright, so I need this guy. Yeah, I've decided that. So this is how the servo is going to set. We will place this guy on there like so. And that gear should fit nice and tight. Alright, now we take our screw and put it on top. Which is a Phillips, which is fine. I haven't done this on ages. So that guy goes that. Hopefully this guy will be, yeah. Love magnet. Is that going to be too big? Yeah, that's going to be too big of a screwdriver. Hold on a minute. Get our little screw in here. For now. Stay. Or not. Alright, so while I hunt down a smaller screwdriver, which should just take me a minute, excuse the cluttering of noise. the smaller screwdrivers on way at the bottom. Alright, so you might, if you have something like this on hand, this is going to make your life a little easier. And I don't think I'm going to need to... Tiny little Phillips is all I'm looking for. Is that even a Phillips? That is not a Phillips. But that is. Alright. So, get that guy, and that guy should be small enough to work with. Alright. We'll put the rest of the set away, because, or out of the way, I should say. And we will get this all together. There we go. So, simple procedure if you're not careful. It'll be hard. Like, I am loving magnetism right now, apparently. Alright. This is harder than what it should be. Here we go. Right? This is actually too small for it. I'll work with it, that's fine. It's almost in all the way in anyways. There we go. There we go. So that's all set. Let's do a quick little unboxing here of the remote. Alright, so I decided to go with the FlySky, is the brand name, FS-GT3B remote. Looked like a good one. I don't know. Looks bulky now that I look at it. Alright, so let's open her up. So what do we have here? We have some information about stuff about the remote. I guess that's codes and whatnot. Put that aside, I'm feeling I'm going to need that. Then we have our little manual. And the receiver, an antenna, a tube for the antenna, and a jumper. Okay. That goes off. Cool. And out comes the remote. Well, there's not much to it, apparently. Literally. That's all there is in the box. Ugh. A lot of buttons for such a simple remote. So we got a display at the top. I'm assuming this is... I don't know what that is. Well, I'll have to read the instructions on this. This is not what I remember it to be. I mean, remotes, remember remotes to be. Back in my day, they used to be a lot simpler. Interesting. Battery compartments at the bottom. So it takes I think it takes 8 double A's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright. So that's the remote I'm going with. I'm going to get this situated and we'll be right back. Alright. So I got myself some double A's. I'm not sponsored by any of these brands or anything for that matter. 4, 6, and 8. Which leaves me with 4 batteries for another project. Okay, cool. channel. I don't know why it just says 3. Interesting. This looks like it'd be the power on switch, but I could be wrong. Look at this. Ah, there we go. Cool. Nifty display. Not that I know what anything means here. Mode 0F. Alright. Yes. I'll have to dig into this a little deeper, and at this point I'm going to end the video. And here's why. I'm still waiting on screws to finish this up. I need to reprint the back here on the car. And I'm going to get this all set up, tested, and we'll go from there. And hopefully by next week I'll have the car put together, depending on if I get the screws or not that I need. Alright, that. Have a good night. Subscribe. We will get into this a little bit more hopefully next week. If not, I have another project in mind that'll help with my camera setup. So, alright. I'm going to catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good night. Excuse the printer. I'm reprinting the back wing here. Excuse me. As you can see, I kind of cracked it right here. And... oops. But that was a weak point anyways, mind you. I kind of, sort of, knocked it on the floor unintentionally when I was doing something.
I think I was grabbing a print off the print press. Alright, so, where are we at? Well, when I knocked this off the floor, I was reprinting a little friend here that holds the servo. The way this is designed does not give me enough clearance for the servo to work properly and be able to run a wire from here to the servo. So what we ended up doing is recreating that, redesigning it a little bit. So here it is. Here's the redesign. I sent it down the back a little bit and the top because there's some more crap there. I was considering using a tap, but when I thought about it, I really want that screw to be really tight. If I was going to be like screwing and unscrewing parts in that same general area, I probably would tap it, but I'm not going to do that. So let's start by getting the servo in, and then we'll take a look at the electronics. I've got them working, I've got everything running. So hold on a sec. What we're going to do is start by grabbing our servo and grabbing the screw for our servo. So what I did was to move the screw holes forward. So that goes onto the car itself. That slides in nicely. That looks nice and perfect. It sits nice and snug, which is great. And the clearance looks good. And let's get my screw on the screwdriver. Whoops. Love that magnetism. Alright, we'll set this into place and then I don't have any 8mm screws right now, so this is not getting done today. But I do have longer screws, and I can get away with that on this. And we'll do that for this part, so at least I can get this done. And then we'll talk about how I'm going to connect the parts going from the servo to the steering. Because what you need is a wire. Now, there's a trick to that I'm going to do. I'm not going to go out by peeing a wire or any of that thing that people say that you should do. There's a simpler method to that than that, and a bit cheaper too. Because what you need, when I was a kid, they provided us little wires for the kits when kids were in your cars. So, that was dumb. Anyways, can you see what I'm doing? Sort of, not really. Alright, so that looks perfect. We'll test electronics in a minute. I just want to get this into place. And this will solidify or verify that this is going to work nicely. Do I want a 10mm?
Yeah, I think I'll do the 10mm. I don't want to go too big. That one down, I need a larger screwdriver. So I ordered it 108mm screws because that's how the pack came. And is that right? I think that's right. It doesn't matter, that'll work just fine. And it's not going to be here for another week or two. Alright. But that's okay. We'll live without them for now. And because I'm lazy, we'll separate the two halves. Well, not lazy, because I don't want to deal with such a big piece and chance of knocking it over again. Alright. And
we'll pull our terminal out of its slot, separating it from the relay receiver. Now, what we need to do is let's get our screws in. Yeah, that'll work nicely. I could even go, I just might, actually, you know what, no, we'll stick with those really good. I could probably get away with the 10mm, but even at that point, I don't think I have enough. I don't know, I know you don't see what I'm doing, I'm just fighting with the screw and get it lined up properly. And after I'm done putting this in, we will hunt down a wire that we can connect to the servo. as material-wise goes, that's actually PTEG, which is an interesting stuff to print. It works, but sometimes it doesn't. It's very, it's like a finicky material, would be the best description for it. Alright, I'm gonna go hunt down a wire. I'll be right back.
I have found what I am looking for. Let's move our car to the side here. And we'll talk about the electronics shortly. But let's go ahead and use one of the wheels here to balance this. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe we do 2. 2 is good. We'll do 3 just for good measure. So what I did is I went hunting down for one of these guys. I found a big one of those, which will be a stiffer wire, and I also found a little one. This is all you really should need. And if you look at your holes, I believe the little one would be the best solution here. So, see how nicely that fits? Nice and snug. So that's the best solution. I don't think the big one will fit properly, and same thing there. So obviously we're going to want to straighten this out the best we can. If you're cheap like me, this is the best solution. If you're not as cheap as me, go buy some piano wire. So just take your time and straighten this guy out. And what's going to be the best thing to do, I think, take a quick measurement, because you're going to need to clip this down anyways at some point. Alright. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it does need to be stiff and straight. Alright, that should work nicely. I don't know how well you guys can see the paper clip. Nice and straight. Alright, now the next step will be to make a couple bends. So you're going to want to say that about there. You're going to want to bend this way, and then you're going to want the same thing in the other direction, like that. And you want to get this lined up the best you can. So a little bend like that, you should be able to slip it into the servo, and that should hold it like so. It says, and that's what you're going to want, a nice stiff line. Now make sure your servo's perfectly straight there, and this is going in a nice even direction as well, will be your next step. And you're going to want a pair of wire cutters, or snips should be fine. Something that'll be able to cut it, because you're going to need to cut this down a little bit. So, alright, so right there is the distance I need, so I'm going to want to cut probably right about there. Move this out of the way a little bit, and snip that down, and that can get tossed. You're not going to need that. The next step is going to be a little bit more on the tricky side. If I did this right, I should have enough to feed through and enough to bend over this way to keep it tight. Like that. And I didn't clip it right. Alright, that's fine. I have to hunt down another one and I'll reclip it, but I'm not going to show that on camera. You guys don't need to see that. No, I'm sure you guys don't care. But what we will do is check out the electronics a little bit. That's sufficient for now, and I'll fix that later. Let's put these two halves back together again. Okay, so we have everything somewhat put together. Good enough. So what we want to do is plug in our battery, which is here. I picked up a 222 millimeter 35C 7.4 volt with a T connection, and your secondary for charging. So what you want to do is line things up perfectly, because if you don't, it's not going to work. Alright, that's better. So get that plugged in. We want to, let's kick on our little remote. Oh, before I do, let's get rid of this. Right. That's nicer looking. So we'll power it on. Power on our servo. I have everything synced up. And as you can see, I don't know how well you can see that. That seems to be working quite nicely. Now let's fix our servo and we'll test that. Fix it by maybe plugging it in might help. Well, let's power this all down. We'll plug the servo back in. Yeah, that was brilliant on my end. Again, make sure you're going in the right direction. Make sure you're in. And let's turn it back on. And of course it's going to fall because it's not connected properly. But that's our next test anyway, so. That's going to be something else I'll have to fix, is I got to realign that. Come on. There we go. That might fall out again, but that's okay. Let's turn on the remote. I'll just hold that for now. Okay, so this is the other part you'll need to do, is figure out where you're going to want to place your rod. As you can see, I wasn't turning enough, so we'll move it down some. And we'll go from there. I say that's barely moving. We'll move it up. Yeah, it's been a while since I've played with remote control cars. Last time I played with assembled a remote control car, it was all analog, nothing digital. Nothing like today's. We'll put it all the way to the top, see what happens. Hopefully it still fits. Okay. Yep, there we go. That looks pretty decent. Going in one direction anyways. Okay, with that, so all the electronics works. Essentially, that's what you're doing. Bend take a piece of nice strong metal wire, bend it a couple times here to slide it in, and then you do essentially the same thing here. You can even, it doesn't matter which point you start at. For example, if I wanted to, I could have started at this point. And it may have been easy, actually, maybe I will. Yeah, and then at this point, you can either go into a hook form, which we're going to do here, because I think that'll be a little bit stronger of a connection. And I forget what the 3 trim. So I should be able to fix some of this with the trim. As you can see, it's working fairly nicely. And everything's running great. Alright, I think that's where we're going to wrap up the video today, is at this point. Because I've done a lot of talking on this video, and, well, you know, hopefully on the next topic on this, we'll have the body assembled, the wheels on, and we'll be able to actually take it out for a spin. So look forward to that. Meanwhile, if I don't get the screws within the next week, I got another project where I can work on doing a camera configuration.